All right, guys. Our next guest is the number 3 ranked UFC women's bantamweight. She is the first ever women's Ultimate Fighter winner and is currently riding a 7-fight win streak, which she takes into her fight against Valentina Shevchenko on January 28th. The always lovely Venezuelan vixen Julianna Pena. Welcome back to Submission Radio. Happy New Year. How are you today?
Happy New Year. Thank you. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm not number 3 ranked anymore. I'm number 2, and technically in my book, I'm number 1.
There you go. New year, and we're already messing up rankings. Look at us. I mean, you got to excuse us, Julian. You know, we're recovering after a crazy and, a much-needed break over the New Year period, but we got to get into it with you about what exactly you got up to. Tell us, what does a Julianna New Year look like for you, especially with the fact that you've got a fight looming in January?
The New Year looks like training and some more training. You know how it is.
What did you actually do for New Year's? How did you enter the New Year?
I spent it with my boyfriend and his lovely family, and we just ate a bunch of Mexican food and danced all night long, and it was fun. It was awesome. I had some tamales. It was amazing.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Me and Casper, I don't know, we don't really do the resolutions every year. I've been doing them lately, but curious, are you big on the New Year resolutions, and if so, what are yours?
No, I'm not too big on it. I did make a resolution that I would be fighting for the belt and winning the belt and defending my belt. So that was a big one for me. But I'm not, big on, I'm going to hit the gym 6 times a week this year, because it never works out like that.
And I feel like 6 times a year would be a ridiculously low amount for you anyway, so it's good that you don't have to do anything like that. The year, of course, finished off with UFC 207, a card that you yourself had many reasons to watch. Set the scene for us, Julianna. Where did you watch it from?
At home, actually.
That's interesting. Was it a situation where you were by yourself? Did you have your boyfriend and his family there? Set the scene for us.
I did. I had my boyfriend and his family, and we were all gathered around the TV and watching it. So it was a good one. That was a fun time.
You've been chasing this title shot for what seems like an eternity. I mean, when you watched that fight, was it a bit weird, and did a part of you feel like, maybe that should have been you main eventing the end-of-year card and fighting for the belt?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was funny because I went into the UFC office and I asked Dana for the title shot, and he said, no, we're not going to give it to you yet because Ronda's coming back. And I said, well, you should give it to me because I'll put up a better fight than she will. And he said, no, well, her name's big, it's Ronda Rousey, you're just going to have to, fight one more time and then maybe you'll get the title shot. And so at that point I was frustrated, and I knew I wasn't going to get it, so I just had to accept those terms and conditions. And then when I watched the fight and saw that Ronda laid an egg, I kind of hit the nail on the head as to what I was saying all along, and that she was going to get knocked out. So I was right, and now I look like a genius. So that's great.
Well, you never looked stupid, Julianna. I mean, a lot of people believe you're a genius from everything else that you've done previously. But, I mean, I have to ask you, in the past, we've spoken to you, a lot about this fight, about a potential title fight. How little did it make sense for a fighter coming off a KO loss to be fighting for the belt upon the return? The other thing that made this such an irregular situation was Ronda's decision not to do any media ahead of the fight. As someone who's had instances in the past where you were less than satisfied with the MMA media, just wondering, what did you think of the whole situation?
I thought it was funny, it was like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. The media is the one responsible for making Ronda the superstar that she was and making her, this untouchable force that no one could ever beat, and so I think that it was kind of unusual that she was not going to do any media, but that just goes to show the kind of personality that she has. She's a brat, and she's spoiled, and she's used to getting her way on everything. So once again, it was just one of those things where she was going to get her way and, throw a fit until, she gets her way, and that's exactly what happened. I think it's funny because I was looking back at a post that I had made with MMA fighting, and I said, that spoiled brat has got everything handed to her, and she's getting everything handed to her again. It's bullshit. And I said, never in the history have I ever heard of somebody have a no controversy, brutal knockout, then quit the sport, and then come back and get a title shot right away. I said, the girl's mentally weak, and Amanda Nunes is going to knock her out and expose her. So I think it's funny because I had predicted what was going to happen, and then that's exactly what happened. So no media till the cows come home. It doesn't matter. Ronda Rousey is mentally weak, and she was literally handpicking her fights from the very beginning. And in my opinion, she's the worst girl on the roster. You know, if you take a year off from the sport and you don't train and stuff like that, the sport is going to evolve and it's going to continue without you. And if you don't take any warm-up fight or any sort of tune-up fight, if you will, then you're going to be in a world of hurt. And unfortunately, I don't think anybody is feeling it much more than she is. So, my thoughts are with her. And, every dog has its day. I wish her the best. But at the end of the day, it's what do you think was going to happen?
It's an interesting situation because people are sort of on a couple of boats. Some people saying, oh, Ronda Rousey's done. She can't compete with other women in the division. Other people putting a lot of the blame on her trainer, Edmond. He's had previous situations like in Melbourne where he's gotten a lot of criticism. This fight, though, seemed like it kind of stopped before it even got started as she got stunned very early. What are your thoughts on all the criticism that a trainer, Edmond, and his sort of team gets after another loss?
I think Edmond's great, you know what I mean? I think he's the only one that could possibly have handled that chick in that type of setting and been able to put up with her crap, you know what I mean? So what he's done for Ronda is wonders. I don't think that anybody could have done a better job than him or that anybody would have put up with as much as bull crap as he's put up with besides him. So my hats are off to him. At the end of the day, it's not necessarily his battle. It's Ronda's battle, you know. Edmond can't get in there and fight for her, so that's what's so hard about this sport. It's live or die by the double-edged sword. You know, you have to be able to perform, you know, like she even said herself, on your worst day possible. And so she wasn't able to perform, and nobody is to blame besides herself. You know, she can't say that she wasn't ready or that she wasn't prepared. She's had all the time in the world to get ready for this fight. So I don't really know. I think that a lot of people come up with a bunch of excuses, but at the end of the day, it's just not your day. And sometimes you just got to give credit where credit is due. And it was Amanda's night. And so that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're giving Edmond a lot of credit here, and that's entirely fair enough. So, to a lot of people saying that, you know, Ronda needs to move to a different camp and you know, sort of change everything, are you sort of not on that boat? Do you think it really wouldn't have made a difference regardless of where she was?
Listen, you know, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's none of my business. You know what I mean? I don't give a crap what she does. Whether she wants to go to Timbuktu or go train Muay Thai in Thailand for a year or, you know, go train on the moon or whatever. That's her business. Train wherever you want, but you're going to have to step inside the octagon and know $3 million, $4 million, $5 million or any amount of money or price that you can put on it is going to take away the fact that mat time is the only thing that's going to speak for itself in the cage and in the octagon. And if you don't have that mat time, you know, no dollar amount is going to fix that. No dollar amount is going to make you standing across the cage from some killer who put their time in the mat, and you're going to say, shit, I wish I would have trained more, instead of, you know, like no money amount or monetary value, I think, is going to take away that feeling from that fighter looking across the cage from a killer ready to take your head off.
And training on the moon, that seems like the next big thing in the MMA world, if it's possible to do. I mean, we've touched on it a couple of times, but I'm just very curious to know, do you think she's got the skills to compete in the division? If she did come back, do you think she could hang in there with a top 10 in the division? Or do you genuinely believe that, I guess the game, like a lot of people have said, have sort of gone beyond her and her skill set isn't as dangerous as it used to be when she first started in the division?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question. All I know is, like I said, that she was mentally weak from the beginning. She was a bully, handpicking all of her fights, and then she got knocked off her block, and that really ruined her. And I think that a second knockout like this is, again, it might have ruined her, but I don't know. Who's to say? Who's to say she doesn't take her $6 million, $10 million, millions and millions and millions of dollars and just ride off into the sunset and flip everybody a bird like she always does? You know, shit, that's what I would do, maybe.
Amanda Nunes, after the fight, she said that she thinks obviously Ronda needs to retire from MMA. Given the history between the two of you, Ronda and yourself, I mean, you told us last time you were on the show that you would have loved the chance to be the one to retire her. Would you be disappointed if you never got that chance to do that, Julianna?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think that she was avoiding me all along. I beat her whole team. I ran through her whole entire team on The Ultimate Fighter. When Dana White allowed women into the UFC and she fought one girl on the UFC, I fought four girls, and I beat them all, and they were all under Team Rousey. She should have wanted to fight me after I beat her whole team's ass instead of them saying, oh, you're not ready for a title shot. We're going to give you Jessica Andrade instead. And then I would have beat Jessica Andrade, and then they would have said, oh, well, you need a couple more and a couple more. That girl's been dodging me from day one, and she knows it. And that's all I have to say. You know, I think it's very disappointing if she does retire because, yeah, I wasn't the one that was able to dethrone her. But I think that she knows at the end of the day that I am a nightmare matchup for her. I'm a nightmare matchup for any of these girls in this division. And she did not want to get locked in the cage with me, and it's as simple as that.
Well, let's focus on the future and look towards your first fight against Valentina, the first fight of the year against Valentina. First off, why did you accept this fight in the first place? Because given your resume and winning streak, why take this fight instead of waiting for the winner of Ronda and Amanda? Did you have to do it, or was it a personal choice to keep active and keep fighting?
No, you know, I think that they were really wanting me to take this fight, and they kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and kept telling me, oh, well, other girls are going to fight in the division. They're going to pass you up, and they're going to get the title shot if you don't take this fight, you know. And I was going to say, you know, I am not going to allow somebody to step in front of me again and get a title shot ahead of me. So I think that with a combination of a lot of pressure from the UFC, which is fine because I'm a company girl and I want to do what's best for the company, and with a lot of pressure from the fans, I'm saying that I'm afraid of her, and Valentina herself telling me that I'm afraid of her. You know, it has nothing to do with being anyone. It has everything to do with politics. I deserve a title shot. I've deserved a title shot, but you guys don't think that, or the fans don't think that, so now I'm going to go put my title and put my record on the line again, and I'm going to go once again and show everybody why I deserve the title shot and why I am the rightful champion.
And I mean, a lot of people have been talking about you being the rightful contender for a long time now. I'm sort of wondering what that conversation was like with the UFC. You say they put some pressure on you. Did you express your frustration with not getting that title shot? Did you name any stipulations and what you expect to happen next? Did you say to them, look, hey, I'll take this fight, but, you know, I better get that next title shot? And did they really need to sort of sell you on it? What was the process like?
Oh, yeah, I've been bitching and moaning until the cows come home. They know I'm a firecracker, and they know that I, you know, am hot about it. And so they just kind of laugh it off and say, yeah, okay, take this fight. So I say, okay, whatever. Well, make it worth my while, please. And I think that, you know, not being on a pay-per-view where somebody has to pay $60 to see me fight, or not being on a Fox Sports 1 channel where people are going to have to pay extra for, you know, above basic cable in order to watch my fight, for me to be a main event on Big Fox Channel 3 where it's going to be universal, worldwide, everyone's going to watch this fight, was definitely something, and definitely motivating factor for me on why I did take this fight. You know, there's going to be millions and millions of people watching this fight, and those are the type of high-profile fights that I want to be in. So that's another reason why I decided to take it.
I mean, it doesn't look like there's any other options but the winner of this fight to have the next title shot, but do you have any guarantees that if you win this, you get the title shot? Did they put any stipulations in your contract or in the deal that guarantee you that title shot next? Or do you sort of still have to take their word on it and hope they come through with it?
Listen, nothing in this business is guaranteed. I'm fighting in the Ultimate Entertainment Championship, and so it's what makes sense entertainment-wise. So whatever, you know, makes sense for them is what's going to happen, because it's been making sense for me to get a title shot for a couple years now, and they still haven't given it to me, and I can't understand why. But I know that, you know, if I win again, there should be no controversy as to why I'm not getting this title shot. And so I'm just putting my good faith in the UFC and being this company girl and putting, you know, all my trust in the fact that they're going to do right by me. God willing, I win this fight, and that's exactly what I plan on doing.
I'm wondering, you mentioned an interview you did a while ago, and we were reading the exact same interview, and you mentioned something about the UFC sweeten the deal. Just wondering, was there any other monetary incentives when they gave you this fight as, I guess, sort of like a cushion, like, all right, you're not getting that next title shot, but we're going to give you something extra? And did you have to sort of negotiate for those, or was it something they just offered up front?
No, you know, by sweeten the deal, I mean they're finally putting me on a main event. You know, I got girls that, you know, are in the 115-pound division that are headlining a card, and I'm thinking, why the heck am I not headlining a card? You know, it's things like that.
You know, the saying goes, if you fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. If the UFC don't come through with this title shot and you do win this fight, is this sort of it for you? Can you be bothered dealing with this kind of negotiation fight after fight? Is this sort of the line in the sand that you've drawn?
Listen, that's negative. And I don't feed into that negativity. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do my best, and I'm gonna focus on getting my hand raised on January 28th, and that's my main and sole focus.
You spoke to Luke Thomas recently and said that you're obsessed with Valentina Shevchenko and that you think about her morning, noon, and night. Have you ever been this obsessed about an opponent? Is this sort of the way you are with every opponent in every fight?
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, when I sign on the dotted line and another girl signs on the dotted line that they want to fight me, I take it very personally, and I take it highly offense to any girl that thinks that they're out there harder than me. I've been putting in too much work. I've been putting in too much time. I've been dreaming about this for such a long time. You know, if I get to a title shot, that will be a consequence of all these hurdles and all these bumps that I've had to go through. And so right now, my main focus is Valentina, and I am obsessed with her. I think about her all the time. I literally know everything about her, and I've watched literally every single video and nook and cranny that you can dig up on the internet. I know everything about her, and I do this type of research obsessively because I'm obsessed with MMA, and I'm passionate about what I do. And so, yeah, I am obsessed with her, and I'm going to continue to be obsessed with her until I get my hand raised.
We were hoping you were going to say that, because seeing as you scored the earth for intel on her, what are some fun facts that you can tell us about her? What have you dug up that we probably wouldn't know?
She's a Pisces, which means she's an emotional girl. She's born on March 7th, 1988. Wow. I don't think people born in the Soviet Union have Social Security numbers, so I wasn't able to get that Social Security number set down straight. But I know that she lives in Peru. She loves to dance. She's a phenomenal dancer. She's a 17-time Muay Thai world champion, and she's got some really great decisions under her belt. So. I think that she's a strong fighter.
And this is from her Tinder profile, right?
Yeah, it's either Tinder or Grindr, one of those two.
Oh, wow. Amanda Nunes beat her not too long ago. However, it was a fight that didn't really win too many fans. When you see the way Amanda, obviously the current champ, beat Valentina, does it sort of motivate you? You're obviously very obsessive about this fight, to sort of make your victory more dominant and, you know, make it a bigger statement.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I've ever ran across anybody in the division that was a more dominant fighter than me, you know, so it's just going to be another notch on the old belt for me, dominating another fight and winning another round and being another dominant round-winning fighter. So I think it's just going to be a great fight, and I expect a great finish as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people have tried, and it's obviously easier said than done. Valentina's often had a tendency to nullify her opponent's offense and frustrate fighters. How do you go about making sure that you employ a game plan against her and make it that one-sided fight that you're aiming for?
Yeah, I bite down on my mouthpiece and I come forward and I go get in her face just like I do all these other girls. So the game plan's not changed. It's stick to what you know, and you know how to fight morning, noon, and night, and that's all I'm worried about.
You said that if their fight was 5 rounds, Valentina may have beaten Nunes. This being your first 5-round fight, are you doing anything different in preparation, Julianna?
You know, I'm a workhorse and I work hard, and I bust my ass every single day, and that's the bottom line. So I'm going to be ready no matter what. January 28th, I will be ready.
I mean, a lot of people know you as a very complete fighter with a strong skill set on the ground. She, like you mentioned, is a 17-time Muay Thai champion. Will you be looking to test your striking against her in this fight? And have you done anything different in preparation in terms of striking for this fight?
You know, I just kind of prepare for all my fights the same, and that's work hard and put your mat time in, and the rest will take care of it for at the end of the day. You know, there's nothing that she's going to be throwing or showing or displaying that I'm not going to be ready for, and I'm going to be ready for whatever she brings wherever the fight goes, and so that's all that matters.
If 2016 has taught us anything, Julianna, is that quiet mouths don't get fed and loud mouths always do. Do you think you'll take the opportunity after the fight when you're in the octagon to get on the mic and, you know, maybe send a particular message? I think Amanda recently set the bar after she beat Ronda. Anything similar in your mind?
The answer is yes, and I won't go into it any further than that.
So something exciting we're expecting, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Julianna. Well, as we let you go, we want to get the official prediction. How do you see yourself getting it done against Valentina on January 28th in Denver, Colorado? Are you going to grind her into mashed potatoes? Because I know this is a big line that you like to use on commentary.
Yeah, I think I'm going to smash her into smashed potatoes this time instead of mashed potatoes.
Well, there you go, upping the ante. Guys, don't forget to follow her on Twitter and Instagram at Venezuelan Vixen. And, of course, check her out against Valentina Shevchenko on January 28th. That will be 29th in Australia due to the time difference at UFC on Fox 23, your first main event. A massive fight, and I mean, this is going to be a title eliminator. We're sick of waiting. We remember a year ago in Melbourne speaking to you about potentially being the next title contender, so we're very excited about this, Julianna. Thank you so much for taking the time chatting with us. It's always a pleasure with you.
Thank you for having me on, you guys. It's always a pleasure. Have a great night.